exhibition is called The Mad Square, Modernity in German Art 1910 to 1937, and it looks at an incredibly important moment in European art when Germany was the centre of a whole range of flourishing avant-garde art movements. This exhibition brings together more than 200 works drawn from collections around the world. In the exhibition you'll find a whole range of art forms represented: painting, sculpture, works on paper, photographs, posters, decorative arts, and also film. Many artists came to Berlin to exchange ideas. It was very much an artistic centre. This period in German art was characterised by a great sense of creativity, experimentation, innovation, diversity, and the edginess of the subject matter as artists started to represent the darker themes of modernity. Artists like Ernst Ludwig Kirchner behind us. This is a painting that he produced when he came to Berlin from Dresden, and it shows one of his earliest paintings of a Berlin streetwalker, which he would develop into a major series of paintings called Berlin Street Scenes. Here we can see his use of primitivism, his use of expressive colour, and very edgy subject matter, which we see throughout the exhibition. During the war, it was no longer possible to paint polite pictures, and so what you find in many of these works is a sense of bitter creativity. Artists such as George Grosz express their disgust with contemporary society. So in Suicide of 1916, we see him representing the city with all of its vices and excesses, themes of suicide and prostitution and madness, and all depicted in these menacing tones of red that run so intensely throughout the composition. Christian Schad painted Self-Portrait in 1927, and it very much represents the style known as New Objectivity. We see him here facing us in a kind of confrontational way as he kind of also looks at himself the day after, obviously, this fleeting affair, with this woman who's quite glamorous but also disfigured by the scar on her cheek. So we have in the background Paris, and that represents his yearning for Bohemia, which he had found in Berlin. But at the same time, I think it's quite a critical work, and it's quite critical of cosmopolitan society, and that's quite characteristic of a lot of the works that we find in this room. So the title of the exhibition takes its name from this painting, The Mad Square by Felix Nussbaum, and from the German Der Tolle Platz, that actually has a double meaning of Berlin's art scene as being both crazy and fabulous. So I very much use that double meaning to kind of the quality that presides over many of the works in the exhibition. We see Nussbaum in the composition holding a note of protest as he protests with his younger artists against the power of the Academy and the fact that they couldn't exhibit their work there. Nussbaum was a very interesting artist. He was an artist of Jewish descent, and after 1933 he was forbidden from working or exhibiting and was forced into hiding. He lived in Brussels for many years until he was eventually captured, and then he was sent to Auschwitz, where he actually died in a concentration camp. So I think these works in particular, this room which deals with the fate of German artists in the 1930s, this work becomes quite poignant in the context of German history.